Yeah, but that's kind of a hard question because it started out like being on the road at 17 years old and being away from home and being with a bunch of guys. It was more of a party atmosphere. I would think you would call that. Plus, you got paid not a lot, but living in a tent and sometimes a hotel room. But eventually, it went from that to having our own airplane and flying around, and it of course got a lot different. And the more success you got, the more money you made and the less you worked. Kind of depending on what you did, because in the beginning every day was more about when are we going to eat, what are we going to eat, do we have enough money to eat and before I quit playing was get up in the morning and read the newspaper and have a cup of coffee, go to the swimming pool or something, hang out with some friends or other musicians and get together and go do the show, and then afterward it was usually party central. That calmed down quite a bit the older you got. Usually before every show, the musicians are different, so I had different kinds of rituals, and I of course had my own as well. I kind of like to be by myself and just practice a few rudiments and on a drum pad or something, and then everybody get together and like you get all excited and you can hear the people out before the show, and it's a feeling you can't really describe, because it's like getting ready to go on a roller coaster. The anticipation of getting on stage was the best part. Got into the music business. That's a really good question. Just started playing in the school band in the 4th grade, I think. At that time, the most popular groups were groups like the Beatles and the Beach Boys and the Rolling Stones, and of course they had a big influence on the kind of direction that I went, because I liked that kind of music. And when I played through junior high and high school, when I got into high school, I went more to the jazz end, which our high school group in America won the national championship, so that opened a lot of doors for me, because with the jazz, and played with a lot of big jazz names. And then from there we had our own group of high school guys that played not only in the jazz, we formed our own type of band like Chicago with horns, and went on the road when we were 16, 17, 18 years old for the whole summer, and decided this was probably what most of us wanted to do. So the group achieved a lot more success, and you'll see some of the old funny pictures on the wall there. And the more success you got, the more doors opened. So I ended up in the end just working in shows in Las Vegas, which was, that was probably the best. The money was great. Worked with the best musicians in America and some of the European musicians as well. A lot of big names and big shows. That's where I ended up, and now I'm here. Some of the experiences we had when you're a musician that, the best part is they paid you a lot of money to do things that you like to do. So most people work for a living, and I got to play for a living. And some of the experiences that we were so lucky to do at a young age, I think I was about 23, 24 at that time, I played the Punch Bowl concert in Honolulu, Hawaii. There was 33,000 people there, and that was pretty scary. I remember I threw up before the show because I was so scared and so nervous. But you end up getting over that. It's a real adrenaline rush, when that many people there. But also the Las Vegas shows, that was a lot of fun, and that opened doors to, we were able to do a lot of television and radio commercials. Got to be in 3 Hollywood movies, Rain Man for one with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. And that was kind of fun. But you know, if we weren't a musician, we probably wouldn't even been asked to do something like that because we were no way actors. But we just kind of were lucky and we're in the right place at the right time, and a lot of it is a lot of luck. With all the success at the end, it kind of changed my life for the better. But you know, you always have to look to the future too. And you know, I was lucky enough to meet my Danish wife in Las Vegas after a show at the Flamingo Hilton, and that really ended up changing my life because she's probably the one that told me, you know, what are you going to do when you get old? And that's why we decided at that time we'll give it a few more years, and we had some really good years while she traveled with us occasionally, and we ended up moving back here to Denmark and starting our family here. So it's kind of, you know, people ask you too, don't you ever miss doing this stuff like that? And say, of course you do. You miss it every day, but you know, you have to remember what you have. Bad things about music. The good is, there's a lot of good. Different types of music, what it makes you feel. One day it's this kind of music, maybe the next day's another. There's just so many good things about it. And of course, like I said before, the money was fantastic. You know? But there is a downside to the music too, which you've all heard of people that have died because of drugs and alcohol, and that's a big part of being out there in the music business is drugs and alcohol. I've lost a few friends to drugs and alcohol, and you got to stay focused and remember where you're going and what you're doing, and not let anything else affect you. You know, hey, it's nothing wrong with going out and partying, but you know, it's when you're young. I know that's probably what y'all think all there is to party, but no, you just got to keep your, you know, both your feet on the ground and remember where you want to go, and don't ever forget where you came from. And stay in school.